Ask anyone about cryptocurrency, and you're probably going to get one of two very different answers. For some, it's a pointless speculative bubble that's just doomed to pop. For others, it's this revolutionary tool for financial freedom. So, which one is it? Is crypto a lifeline for people who truly need it? Or is it just a lottery ticket for folks who can afford to gamble? Well, it turns out the answer completely depends on who you are and where you're standing. This one sentence from an op-ed by a writer in Venezuela it really hits the nail on the head, and it's the core idea we're going to unpack today. The entire value of crypto seemed to change, like dramatically, depending on one simple thing. Do you need it? All right, so first up, let's really frame this whole debate. Because on one side, you've got the view from the halls of economic power, and on the other, you have the view from the streets of struggling economies.
And trust me, they could not be more different. This is the classic critique, right? You've probably heard it a million times. Crypto is a solution in search of a problem. This is the view held by a lot of establishment figures. We're talking former White House economic advisors. They basically argue that crypto is pointless because, hey, our current financial system already handles everything it claims to do. From where they're sitting, it's all just risk with very little actual reward. Now, look at this. This is what's so wild. The gap in perception is just massive. How can the exact same technology be seen as both pointless and enabling, a volatile mess and a golden tool? One side says it leads to financial ruin, the other says it brings financial freedom. How can both of these realities exist at the same time? Well, it all goes back to that quote we started with. You have to need it. So let's flip the script. Let's dig into that user's view. To really get it, we have to step outside of, stable first world economies. We have to look at places where the financial system isn't something you can just take for granted. Because for millions of people, crypto isn't some luxury investment. It's a tool they absolutely need to survive. Seriously, just try to imagine your life savings losing value every single day because of hyperinflation, or imagine the government telling you what you can't and can't do with your own money. This isn't some thought experiment. As our source material points out, this is the daily reality for people in places like Venezuela, Argentina, and Bolivia. These are the very real problems they're desperately trying to solve. And this brings us to the solution they found: stablecoins. Look, for someone whose local currency is collapsing, a stablecoin isn't some complex abstract piece of tech. It's a digital dollar. It's that golden tool the writer was talking about. It lets them preserve the value of their hard-earned money, it lets them save, and it lets them get paid from family or clients overseas without having to deal with a completely broken banking system. So, here's the bottom line for this whole section. When your only choices are to sit back and watch your money turn to dust or use a digital dollar to protect it, well, crypto suddenly stops looking so pointless. It becomes an essential lifeline, a practical tool you use out of pure absolute necessity. Okay? But that's just one side of the story. Now let's pivot to the world of crypto that most of us actually see in the headlines, the one that, let's be honest, looks a lot more like a high-stakes casino. Yeah, in this world, nobody's talking about protecting their savings from hyperinflation. The entire conversation is about one thing: market price. It's all about predicting the future. The focus completely shifts from what crypto can do for you today to what its price might be tomorrow. It's this whole culture, this mentality, that's been nicknamed number go up. And nothing captures this better than our second source, where a bunch of AI models are all trying to predict Bitcoin's price. Is it going to dip below $60,000 first? When are we finally going to see it hit 100,000? As you can see here, the whole game is just forecasting price movements. This is the speculative side in action, a world of charts, predictions, and some pretty big bets. Because ultimately for this group, it all comes down to a number, a target, a future value that promises a massive return on their investment. This is the jackpot. This is the winning number on the lottery ticket, and it's a completely different motivation than just wanting a stable way to buy groceries, right? So how do we make sense of this? We've got these two very real, very distinct worlds, and they're both living under the same roof called crypto. How do we put them together and understand this technology as a whole? This slide right here really brings it all home. The Lifeline is all about solving today's problems. It's focused on stability, on preservation. The lottery ticket, that's a bet on tomorrow's price. It actually embraces volatility, hoping for huge gains. One is a tool, the other is a speculative asset. Same tech, two completely different ball games. And that right there is the key takeaway. There is no single point to crypto. It's not inherently pointless, and it's not inherently a get-rich-quick scheme. Its purpose? Its actual value is defined entirely by the context and, more importantly, the needs of the person who's using it. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. When we're looking at any new technology, who really gets to decide what it's for? Is it the people who invented it, the pundits who analyze it, or is it the people on the ground who find a way to use it to solve their most urgent, pressing problems? It's something to think about.